receiving y'all content. Alright, looks like we're live. It's alive! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you today. Thank you so much for coming and checking out my channel. My name is Dustin Cormier, and today you're watching How to Rock Spirit. We're going to talk about the specific combination of Capricorn Sun coming through the year or the sign of the dragon. Of course, you might know that the sign of the dragon can come through your year, your month, or your day. And the Chinese chart is actually called the Ba-zi chart. And Ba-zi is Chinese for 8 characters. It also means like 4 pillars. The 4 pillars, of course, are the year sign, the month sign, the day sign, and the hour sign. And each of those has a stem. And that's what makes up the 8. Now, you can have dragon on any one of the 4 parts of your chart. And if you are a Capricorn Sun or well, today we're doing Capricorn Sun. So if you're a Capricorn Sun with any dragon in your chart, you might get something out of this, because the dragon will be an important part of your energy, and so will the Capricorn. I guess I'll show a little thing ding here. This is, oh yeah, I guess, whatever anyway. Capricorn Sun we're talking about today. Coming through. Capricorn Sun we're talking about today. Coming through the sign of the dragon. And then in the next video, we're going to do Aquarius Sun. We're doing Capricorn and Aquarius because they're both ruled by Saturn. That's what we're doing today. Now, a few initial words. I will say that the Capricorn, we just did a video, if you'd like. You can see on my channel, we did a video describing Saturn's rulership of Capricorn and Aquarius and how it would affect and complement the sign of the dragon. Saturn happens to be the planet which rules dragon's main energy in Chinese astrology. Dragon is a yang earth energy. It's a cultivating energy. It's ruled by its stomach, so it has an intuition of things. It tends to be rational and logical, but it does have a certain intuition. Although this intuition, like, there's so many different types of intuition. If we're talking about like a Jupiter intuition, it's more about like astrology is like a Jupiter intuition. There's no logic behind it, but there's like timeless metaphorical archetypes which people who are interested in astrology just sort of fall into. It's a Jupiter faithful intuition. Dragon's intuition is more about like seeing, it's an earthy intuition, you know. So I've got this company, it's made this much profit. I've seen other companies who have this much profit. This is how all these other companies are doing in my field. The dragon intuits all this data and all these numbers and says, okay, I have a good sense for the future of this company or this project because I've got a sense of these numbers that I've researched diligently myself through a team of advisors. Usually dragon loves to execute people to do these things, to get their numbers. And then they get all the numbers and they say, okay, so the numbers are going good in this field. So that's dragon's intuition. And it's ruled by Saturn in the Chinese. So there's a confluence here because Capricorn is also ruled by Saturn. It also looks to the bottom line of the numbers in a certain way. Although Capricorn is if we're talking about the sun, we're talking about the self-finding purpose in having done a duty well. It doesn't necessarily need like a lot, you know. The Capricorn isn't going to crack the whip at you in its essential essence. You know, you could have a Capricorn goat person born in the year of the goat, and they can be very soft and accommodating about it. But ultimately, like, what the Capricorn sun cares about is having done some kind of duty well enough that it was good, that people see that it was good and reliable. Capricorn Sun is very interested in being reliable. It's the dragon in this person that gives it a bit of extra ambition. They want to be reliable, and they want people to see that their reliability and their strength and their intuition of all these numbers built into something very big and strong. Capricorn Sun tends to enjoy that kind of thing. There's so many things that we could talk about each one, and that's why I've got this little book here. Well, I got a few books that we're going to read from. What I love to do in these videos is talk about the combination a little bit, like we just did. The Capricorn is the dragon is this enterprising go-getter. Dragon's in like the water triangle of Chinese astrology, fitting in with rat and monkey. So this person is a bit pushy. They love to be productive, ergonomical. They can push aside their emotions if they've got a job that they have to do. And they can, sometimes they're not sensitive to other people's emotions. So the Capricorn Sun coming through this dragon energy sometimes can be very pushy. They're constantly checking people at their job to see if those people will stand the test of time. And sometimes the water energy in them will just see completely through emotional problems with those people in a bad way sometimes. The dragon could throw away someone who was very good for the company just because the person had a bad day, you know? Like the person's like friggin' wife is sick and like, you know, he's trying to take care of the wife, and the dragon Capricorn is like, oh, well, I understand, but I'm still putting your numbers today as having been crappy because you ought to push through this thing that you're dealing with. And, you know, I'm marking you down today as having done a fucking shitty job. And the person is like, you're putting a mark on my record that is going to be on there forever in your interest, and I'm like the most capable person in this company. Capricorn says, well, I hope you prove that going forward. You know, that's like their kind of thing, right? They can be they'll push aside their own emotions. They're very capable of pushing aside their own emotions to drive forward to what needs to get done. The best for the company and for everything else in their lives. They'll just push the emotions aside. They could get some gnarled up emotions for this reason. You know, this is something to think about anyway. But yeah, I like to talk about the combination, as I just have been, give you a little sense of it. Now what we're going to do is read this interpretation of this energy from several different authors. The first one being a tiny one that I always like to look up. I should also say, in these videos, I like these videos to be... Oh, you too, Nay West. Nice seeing you, my dear. Thanks for showing up for the last bits. And my friends Nay West and Goosey have been here watching from the start since 4 o'clock. I did that other video. Thank you so much for coming, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the next one. Get that beauty rest, Nay. Definitely gotta have it. Yeah, but feel free, if you are watching live, to contribute to our live discussion. We will do what we can. I will do what I can to read your comments and to try to steer it in a direction which is fitting and conducive to the topic today. Now, this first reading... Our first reading comes from the Handbook of Chinese Horoscopes by Theodora Lau and Laura Lau. I think this came out in like 2012, something like that. Around there. This is an author's interpretation of the combination of Capricorn Sun with the Dragon, Year of the Dragon energy. Capricorn Dragon. This combination possesses the sure-footedness of the mountain goat, the Capricorn, and the unquenchable aspirations of the celestial dragon. Both signs have ample leadership. The resulting personality will be realistic, doubly hard-working, and completely self-assured. Exceptionally forceful and commanding, this person could almost move mountains by their colossal willpower alone. He spares no one, least of all himself, in his drive to accomplish difficult tasks. I should say he or she. They give it he in here, but it could be a girl or a guy. He spares no one, least of all himself, in his drive to accomplish difficult tasks. The Capricorn dragon will be more athletic and muscular than cerebral, than mental. They love their privacy, too. Respect that do not disturb sign whenever it appears on their door. They really mean it. Yeah, it's like they like their... Saturn loves to restore itself in order to be ready and capable when it needs to show up on the job. So when they're in a time where they gotta chill out and sort of go into the dragon's cave and hang out by all their desired possessions, you better give them that time. They will not cater to anybody obstructing their own sense of Saturn, their ability to show up at their job on time, right? So that was one of our readings. I like to start with the one by Theodora and Laura Lau. They give like a nice little short form icebreaker image of the sign combination. Now, me being the water horse, I'm always checking out my appearance. My hair is a little bit dead today, and I'm trying to keep it spicy. There we go. Trying to keep it bouncing. Said the Leo. Now we're going to do another reading of the same sign combination. And this reading comes from Mantak Chia, Cosmic Astrology. This is Mantak Chia and William U. Way. East-West guide to your internal energy persona. This is the Capricorn month combined with the dragon year. Keyword for Capricorn is utilize. The keyword for dragon is take charge. Dragon's like the ultimate executive, and Capricorn wants to be useful, to utilize things to their best effect. So, Capricorn dragons know that they are a cut above the others, and they've known that from an early age. They also know that their special place in the universe requires diligence in the form of hard work to maintain and hold on to. In general, the Capricorn dragon seems friendly and engaged, but that hides the tension and inflexibility that is the true inner nature of this individual. Work is probably the most important word in the Capricorn dragon's vocabulary. Actually, this concept is about more than just work. It is philosophy that runs the entire spectrum from metaphysics to ethics. Work determines what is real, what is good, and even what is excellence. These people might even be impressed by something that didn't turn out well, as long as they know that the people involved in it put in a lot of work and effort. For them, that's the beauty that they really see. The Capricorn dragon stands in judgment of the ordinary on grounds that there has been insufficient effort to make it better. The work ethic is the best, and in some cases the only insurance against being second-rate. These people are veritable fanatics of the nose to the grindstone approach to existence. They are fearless in the face of detractors and harsh with those who dare to be non-believers. What is important in life is work, and that is the bottom line of everything for these people. When they get a mate, they're even always consciously considering how hard they work. Because when they go out to their friends, they want other people to see either that they've worked hard to have this person, or just in general, they want to see that their partner works as hard as they do and are kind of as, not necessarily as successful, but they're, work is an interest for them in their partner too. Or at least if the other person gives them the space to do their work. That's probably the important thing. The ladder to success is a tricky one to negotiate, and the Capricorn dragon is well aware of this. Struggle, effort, and relentlessness are mandatory to defeat the enemy known as the ordinary. Now, in romance, beating in the heart of a Capricorn dragon is a wonderful family person. There is, however, one stumbling block, which is that these individuals are extremely appealing, and that translates to frequent temptations. Should these people succumb to the temptation, an exercise in bad faith can follow, generally involving excuses for their behavior. Well, I worked so hard, this person was there in the moment, and I deserve it, that sort of thing. Mind you, always keep in mind when you read these things that this is just the sun and the year or whatever energy. It ultimately comes down to the person's Venus, if they're really sensible to the lover's needs and will hold themselves accountable to the needs of their lover emotionally. Venus and Saturn. If these people have a weak Saturn, it'll be harder for them to stick to a relationship. So, these excuses for their behavior, when they get into these messes, they're necessary because the Capricorn dragon is ultimately a very conservative individual. The Capricorn dragon is, in some ways, a latter-day Puritan. They're of the Honest Abe school of truth. Interesting. So they really, as much as it's the fact that they're appealing, and, that's what gives them this temptation thing, but I agree in the sense more that they're of the Honest Abe school of truth. Just when they're dealing with people, it's like, these are all the facts and figures that I have to give you. Show me yours. And when the person's like, well, here's this fact, and I hope you see it in the context of... What context? Show me who you are, deliver. You're on the team if you do. If you don't, I don't give a damn what context you are, what your race, what your sexual orientation is, what any excuse you have is. Just show me the numbers. Show me what you've done. Show me what you can do. If you don't have any of that ultimate thing, hit the road. Go find someone else to impress with whatever superficial qualities you might think that you bring to the table. Now, in relationships, I guess I'll go through this. In the area of romance, good selections for the Capricorn dragon are generally rats, especially rats who are Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, or Pisces. Other good selections here are Taurus or Leo tigers. Tiger with the dragon. That's interesting. They're not in the same triad or anything, but dragon and tiger tend to have the same martial, pushy, out there vital energy, and they're probably vitalized by each other. Continuing the list of positive choices are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Pisces roosters or Pisces snakes. Rooster, we talked about how rooster and dragon are secret allies. Both parts of this combination, Capricorn and Dragon, they both win popularity contests. In fact, they're so popular, there's no need for the contest. In terms of monkeys, the best picks are Virgo, Scorpio, or Pisces. Bringing up the rear in the realm of the negative combinations are Gemini, Cancer, and Libra dogs, and Gemini and Cancer buffaloes. A goat can do well with a dragon, because goat will just let the dragon kind of do whatever it wants. The goat will see past a lot of the dragon's sort of brutal rule bending, and this relationship is built on me. So if you want to be a part of it, you can come along. That's how a dragon will deal with goat. But not with ox, not with buffalo. So I can see why Gemini and Cancer buffaloes might get miffed by the Capricorn dragon. Dragon of any sort. In family life, the Capricorn dragon's furniture consists of hand-me-downs that do not match. The best thing that can be said about their decor is that it is funky. They prefer fine wine to fine furniture, and they like expensive and helpful gadgets more than original works of art. Utility. The Capricorn dragon is not really materialistic. In fact, they are quite a long distance from anything that involves the need to impress others. They want to be glorious and impressive in their given vocation, and they want to hold a space of power there, but they're not ultimately, like when you come into their home, they don't have things ready to impress people with. They don't really care that much about that. They approach their house as a pad rather than a home. Like it's a place to crash. They're not particularly neat in their housekeeping, and not prone to running around picking things up before a visitor arrives. Things often get left where they were set down. The dog sleeps on the couch, the kids' roller skates are in the middle of the living room, and the old and broken computer sits on the dining room table. These people get their sense that they've impressed people by the same that they expect out of people, which is the numbers, which is what is the work that you've done, what companies have you been attached to, what's your name in our mutual field. You know, if you could talk with a dragon about that, you know, if you're in the middle of his house, he could be living in a dump, but he doesn't care if you see that, because that's not where value really rests with him. Value rests in who you've associated with, how well you did with those high associations, and whether you're still being drawn and pulled towards the positive looks of powerful people. That's more of what where their value lies. Now, Capricorn dragons make fine personnel people. This is their livelihood, I should say. Subtitle, livelihood. Capricorn dragons make fine personnel people, especially in areas that require giving directions. As bosses, they're generally terrific because they encourage those who work for them and make suggestions rather than give orders. All of this is pleasant enough, but there's one cautionary note. If they feel someone has betrayed them, they have no mercy in dealing out retributive justice. Capricorn dragons seek themselves. They want to know who they are, and what they are in the deepest possible meaning of those questions, and where they are, in the deepest possible meaning of those questions. They relentlessly partake of self-exploration. A prime mover in this search is the desire to understand others, particularly the needs of others. They are kind and giving, but not to extremes. One of their main aptitudes is managing people, by knowing what they themselves are and work best, how to get the best out of themselves. They see the potential in that, and so they want to see how they can get the best out of other people too. And it's even an emotional thing that they can have a logic for. If these people take emotions as an impartial and objective, logical aspect of the energy field of the corporation, they'll take them into consideration and they'll do what they can logically to get the best out of people. It's a powerful thing to be able to do. And it's essentially rooted in their own desire to get farther. It works. These people, this is a good combination. It's a good, strong combination. Thank you, Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie's commenting here. I also do a channel where I teach guitar called How to Rock a Campfire. And I'm glad to see you here, Anne-Marie. And as usual, to anybody else, feel free to make a comment, and I'll do what I can to discuss your comment in relation to the theme of the video today. Whew. I'm living with like 4 cats, and sometimes I get cat dander in my eye, and that's just a part of reality. But I love them. Cats are awesome. So I'll let them squeak through it. Our next reading is Leo Dragon. Yeah. Now, our next reading on the same subject. Today we're looking up the new astrology. It's a synthesis of Chinese and Western signs by Suzanne White. Now, in terms of not just Suzanne White, but all of these readings, again, I always like to say that Chinese and Western astrology have never been combined together. What people like the reading that we're about to read right now, what these people are doing is they're taking the metaphors and archetypes of Capricorn Sun and the dragon from Chinese astrology. They've taken impressions from both of these fields and informally and in their own way sort of smashed the symbols together. Usually it's on point. Usually it's very good, and it's a great, for those of you watching who have Capricorn dragon energy, I encourage you to read this and digest it and see it for yourself. Just always know that dragon in its own field has 3,000 years of data talking about it. The Chinese have been talking about their own astrology for 3,000 years plus. Western astrology has been talking about its own astrology for 3,000 years plus. The Capricorn Sun is a set thing, and it's been talked about, it's been stewing for all this time. But the combination of Capricorn and a Chinese sign is something that's pretty new. We haven't been talking about it as much in society and history, so it's up to us, it's important for us as modern cultural instigators to talk about these symbols and how they relate to each other and how they can relate to personal self-awareness and healing. Just know that when you hear these readings, it's not written in stone that this is exactly how these people might be. So always take everything from these sort of new age cultural textbooks impartially and with objectivity. Although it's pretty good. I just always like to throw out that disclaimer, you know? So, this is Suzanne White's The New Astrology. We're talking about Capricorn coming through the energy of the dragon. Capricorn's keyword is I use. Dragon's keyword is I preside. It's a good word to use there. It's like someone who presides over the proceedings. You know, the dragon is like, thinks of itself as a sort of like, kind of the king of the energy field and of any situation, typically. They like that position and they like to preside over everybody. That's kind of where that's coming from. And when it's an earnest respect that they earned and gained, they belong there, you know? That's just an energy that they prefer to go to. Sometimes they're not earnest about it, and they just want to be on that high place. Capricorn dragon is a modest fellow, though, who's conservative, and as we're going to see, who will probably work to earn the place that they preside over. Capricorn dragon. Nobody condemns mediocrity the way the Capricorn dragon can. For people born in this combination of signs, prosperity as a result of personal toil amounts to the strongest hedge against the ordinary. The Capricorn dragon is special. He or she feels that peculiarity from a young age, realizes its terrible fragility, and wants more than anything to be able to hang on to uniqueness forever. Capricorn dragon is aware of the pitfalls of upward mobility. He or she knows full well how much of a struggle is required to reach a peaceable victory and call a truce with adversity. But this knowledge does not daunt this angular dragon subject. Angular, what a great word. Threats and red flags cannot deter the true zealot. Capricorn austerity is not very obvious here. Capricorns are austere, and they can resist pleasure now if it means they get a bit bigger treasure down the line. Capricorn austerity is not obvious here. When you first meet this sunny person with the hearty handshake and the ready open smile, you'd almost believe you'd been greeted by a glib Gemini or a munificent Leo. But no, it's the dragon is that sort of enthusiastic thing. But no, Capricornian dragons are naturally bright and cheerful unless they are contradicted. Then suddenly you will note a clear aura of cool tension rising from this subject's epidermis. That's rigidity and stiffness. The Capricorn dragon is talented for projects that ask for vehemence and gusto. He likes to be thoughtful of others and gets a real charge out of the expressions of gratitude that they shower on him in return. These people are crowd pleasers, but not for gain. Their motives are personal. Capricorn dragon wants attention and knows how to go after it in a positive fashion. Dragons love festivals and holidays, parties and crowds. The Capricorn dragon is no exception. The only difference is that Capricorn likes to give the parties himself, take care of guests with that special appeal native to his sign, and make certain that everyone is comfortable and having a good time. The Capricorn dragon is the caterer of the double zodiac. He's always up for a get-together, and he'll do the shopping and cooking and even the cleaning afterwards, so long as you promise to go home happy. The main drawback of this character's personality is his or her inability to say out loud what he or she feels inside. Don't misunderstand. The Capricorn dragon is a competent and eloquent communicator for all that relates to the outside of themselves. But when it comes to intimacy, the Capricorn born in dragon years stalls out. He or she cannot trippingly spill the words, "I love you," or "you have beautiful hair," or "don't ever leave me," or "my darling Adam, you're the best ever." Capricorn dragons are privately reserved. They're forever being accused of coldness in matters of the heart. This very genuine person makes a good lifelong friend. He or she will keep all commitments to loved ones, and even stick out a neck once or twice, if necessary. If a Capricorn dragon likes you, he will go through fire to see you thrive. They're not only loyal, but they carry out their beliefs. If you have a problem collecting a radio you loaned someone a year ago, tell the Capricorn dragon of your woe. He'll lie himself to the person's house. He'll hie himself to the person's house in the name of what's right. He'll take the matter to court. Capricorn dragons make terrific chums, but God help you if you do them wrong. The Capricorn dragon loses interest in traitors as swiftly as he demonstrates his devotion to those he cares for. Loses interest in traitors as swiftly as he demonstrates his devotion to those he cares for. Meaning he will, for those he cares, he will help them whatever ways he honestly, earnestly can. And if someone fucks him over, he'll give that same undying, unswerving loyalty and love in the negative direction towards that person. I don't recommend it. In love, the purity streak is strong, very strong, in Capricorn dragons. They are painfully honest about their preferences. And although diplomatic in every other area of life, in love, they sometimes make terrible romantic faux pas. I think the Capricorn dragon would love to settle down and marry and have a family, period. Yet, this person is too appealing for his or her own good. And pleasing is their pleasure. So when someone is too pleased for words and wishes to push this pleasure a little bit further, Capricorn dragon is sorely tempted. Thing is, Capricorn dragons they're ultimately quite conservative. If they do get involved in extramural sex, they like to think the devil made them do it. Their seething jealousy in love situations is positively frightening, and they rant and rant. If you love a Capricorn dragon, I guess like they can be jealous, and they're sort of really checking like to make sure their partner is doing the promises and commitments that they said and not being a little flirty or whatever. I think because the dragon has it in themselves to go extramaritally, they see how easy it is for themselves to indulge in the pleasure that they give to others. So they're aware when their partner might also indulge in that. If you love a Capricorn dragon, don't hesitate to be firm with them. Make them understand that you love them for something more basic than their good looks or sex appeal. And put your foot down about all those parties too. With this good-hearted soul, you'll have to wear the heaviest shoes. Capricorn dragons are too busy being nice to realize they haven't remembered to tell you how much they adore you. They must be reminded, but they don't hate being prompted. They're the type who might consider backseat driving a favor. Oh, really? A stop sign? Where? They really are too cute. I can see that. That's kind of sweet when you think about these two signs and they can be such bristling energy. You know, it's cool that this person has made a real personable sense of the character of Capricorn dragon. And I agree with it. I agree with how this is coming out. Again, like this girl is hit or miss sometimes with her readings, and this is pretty good. Dragons are immensely popular, and so are Capricorns. There are masses of people for you to try getting along with. This is the compatibilities again for Capricorn dragon. Start with rats. A Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, or Pisces rat will do. Or put a Taurus or Leo tiger in your tank. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Pisces roosters excite the adventurer in you. Same goes for snakes born of those four signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Pisces. As for monkeys, you might prefer Virgo, Scorpio, or Pisces to all other types. What you don't get on with is limited to Gemini, Cancer, and Libra dogs, and also Gemini and Cancer ox. Otherwise, the world is your playground. Enjoy. Notice that these answers are... This girl gets a lot of her information from the one we already read. She just riffs on it. Now, home and family for the Capricorn dragon. Most Capricorn dragons wish they lived in well-appointed surroundings. And most Capricorn dragons live in bohemian pads. Their chairs don't match. Their cat uses the tabletop as a bed. Their baby has been eating the telephone book again. And darn, where is the mate to this green sock? Capricorn dragons are messy about the house. They like pretty things, but they can do without it. If you want an example, I'd say the average Capricorn dragon would rather invest in a magnum of expensive champagne than buy a snazzy couch or an antique chair. They're not really very materialistic people. They like nice things for practical purposes with other people, but they care not about impressing or being like someone else. I mean, like, I could see that, you know, the champagne is such a different symbol than a chair, because there's a utility, not champagne, sorry, cologne. Oh, it does say champagne. But I'm even thinking like cologne or whatever, you know. They like the snaz and the bluster of like positive, pleasant things, although they can do without it. They like nice things, and they like the experience of nice things, but they don't hoard nice antique furniture in order to show it off to people. Capricorn dragon makes for a happy parent. The Capricorn dragon, with their slightly stiff upper lip air and restrained laugh, is thoroughly amused by kids. They represent innocence and creativity and a carefree life to the Capricorn dragon. This parent's dream is to have care lifted from his shoulders, to really fly like Peter Pan away from responsibility and worry. Of course, they do precisely the opposite and plunge headfirst every time into the role of reliable Roger. So kids, to the Capricorn dragon, they mean potential freedom. This person wishes his little Melody or Mary Lee would grow up to be a great artist so that she would never have to buckle under the dull routines and smile at half-wit superiors. Heaven help the kid whose own lifelong dream is to be an accountant for Xerox, to this parent. As a child, so this person can live vicariously through their kids. As a child, no matter his place in the family, this kid will unconsciously take on the role of eldest. He or she slips readily into position of command, and if siblings and parents see no objection to Capricorn dragon taking over the running of the household, then he or she, as a child, will make short work of setting an example for the others. They're not one to lord their power over others. But this child will be a natural leader, and winning, you'll fall directly in love with this tot. Capricorn dragons are irresistibly attractive. Now, in their profession, Capricorn dragons recognize their own little foibles and are intensely interested in who they are and how they got to be like that. Yeah, who they themselves are and why am I like that, you know? You will often find them in careers where the mirroring of human nature is the vector. They understand themselves and seek to understand the needs of others. They are generous, but nonetheless careful with their money. They have natural talent for directing operations and managing people. When crossed, they can be pitilessly vengeful. Pitifully vengeful? They can be vengeful. The Capricorn dragon makes an interesting, lovable boss. He or she encourages subordinates to work rather than ordering them around. and as the Capricorn dragon often prides themselves on their good manners, this person will be courteous as well. As an employee, the Capricorn dragon is always biding time, waiting till he or she gets the big promotion. The Capricorn dragon is decidedly not interested in lowly jobs. Suitable careers for this valuable person are journalist, painter, astrologer, psychiatrist or psychologist, counselor, fundraiser, editor, clergyman, lobbyist, negotiator, public relations person, professor, or caterer. Some famous Capricorn dragons are Faye Dunaway, Joan Baez. Joan Baez, I could definitely see that. That's interesting. And this says Joan of Arc. Makes sense if it's legit, but like, I wonder, someone would have to have really done some digging to find the exact birth date of Joan of Arc. I'm always sketchy when I see old dates. So, you know, sign correlations of people who lived that long ago. Yes! Stretching. Yeah, folks, so that was basically the end of it. That was our, that was our literary interpretation of the energy of, Capricorn Sun coming through the nature of the plucky, lucky dragon in Chinese astrology. Hope I gave you guys a good sense of it. I'm just poking around now to see any comments that we might have left. Scott Stanley. To the party. That must have been this one. We had, in case you were wondering, Mr. Stanley, that part about the Capricorn dragon being liking to have the party like that comes from Suzanne White's The New Astrology, synthesis of the Chinese and Western astrologies. So thank you so much, everybody. Cool. Glad you dug that, Stanley. Mr. Stanley. Scott. My pleasure, sir. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. It's always my pleasure to do this kind of thing with you guys. Thank you to the live people who are suggesting comments that we can talk about. I like to do that in my sort of thing, so feel free to make any comments that you like. That was Capricorn Sun coming through the year, month, or day, or hour of the dragon. Eventually, I'm going to be really digging into Chinese astrology as the symbols relate to each other. Because I don't think anybody's really talking about it as much, although there's a lot to study. I'm taking Ryan Kirksack's Tropical Vedic Astrology apprenticeship track right now, and it's telling me a very deep amount about tropical astrology and Western astrology through the Vedic philosophy. But what I want to really start getting into is contributing to the Western world of astrology by learning about Chinese astrology and Bazi and the dragon and the symbols of the animals, bringing that awareness to the world of Western astrology. And that's something I'm going to be doing down the line quite a bit. All in good time. As for right now, I'm glad that you guys stuck around with me for this video. Stay tuned. The next video, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then the next video we've got happening is Aquarius Sun coming through the year of the dragon. Thank you so much for watching, and check out this video that's going to be on your screen that's going to talk about more about this combination, Saturn-ruled Sun, which is Capricorn and Aquarius, coming through the dragon. We just did like a 2.5-hour video about it. Feel free to check it out. And thanks for watching. See you guys on the next one.